Good day, Coven.
Hello.
Hello.
For the last time in a while.
Yeah, we're going to be taking a break, so this is the last time.
This is our season finale. I can't believe we made it a whole season.
Yay! And people still listen after a whole season.
Yes.
And people keep coming.
Yes.
Welcome, newcomers.
What is wrong with you people?
There's
I'm
more
just
people
kidding.
like us than we thought. We're not alone.
But yeah, we're so excited that we have made it a full
Thank
season.
you to all of you, by the way.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. We just reached over 1,000 downloads the other day.
I think we're close to 1,100 now, and yeah, so we're just
making
trucking
way.
along.
Coming in hot.
Yeah, so that's awesome. We can't believe what a good first season. Remember in our first episode, we were like, it's going to be us and our moms to listen every week.
This is just a personal record for ourselves.
I mean, we weren't putting the bar too high, but we weren't necessarily putting in my head, I wasn't trying to go for anything too high, but at the same time, I wasn't thinking that it was going to be like a complete
Success. We're
blow.
a complete success.
Yes, a complete success.
We are successful.
No, but yeah, no, but honestly, this has been really fun too. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, well, it gave us like, a little something, an outlet during these pandemic days, and also allowed us to connect with a lot of people. Like we were just saying, we connected with a lot more people than we ever thought that this would do. So between our social media channels and all of that, it's been awesome. I've really been enjoying it, and I think the two of you have been enjoying it as well.
Yeah.
So
So let's go into predictions then, because that kind of goes into our social media.
Do we like the candle?
Like the candle? No.
How is it?
Wants to light it for the last time?
It's
Go ahead,
your
Susie.
candle,
It's your
Susie.
candle.
Okay.
You should be the one.
All
The
right.
candle is officially lit.
Oh, shit.
Nope, it's not. Let's make a liar out of me.
I was hoping to remove it and it would be lit right when you said that. I
Did
was
we
like,
say that I'm
There
Sam
it is.
and that's Susie?
And I'm Marilyn. Hi.
Oh, shit.
I mean, we just assume everyone knows us by now, but that's
we
probably
have
not true.
newcomers.
There's new people coming all the time. So
Yeah.
yes, I'm Marilyn.
I'm Susie.
I'm Sam.
Hello, we are hot mess witches.
Too much
Clearly.
coffee. It's fine.
We're
Or not
caffeinated and
enough,
we
I
talk
don't know.
about random things.
I'm having
Okay.
coffee and Cheez-Its for breakfast.
I
How to
mean,
order.
man life. So, as Sam was saying, we should get into predictions.
Yeah, I'm on our
that's
TikTok right
predictions.
now because last week I said that we would have at least 2,000 TikTokers following us, but we're kind of close. We have 1,700.
We're getting there.
Trucking along.
And yesterday, it was like so weird on TikTok. Not to like give you guys all of our analytics or whatever, because whatever, you probably aren't interested in that, but it is relevant to the discussion that I'm about to have with you. So on TikTok yesterday, they were having they're like,
Marilyn's like, I'm going into all this detail because I love details.
details. So yesterday on TikTok, we have been getting a lot of followers and likes and things like that, and a lot of traffic pretty steadily. And then yesterday there was just this weird sharp cutoff, and when I was uploading videos, it's they weren't available right away or whatever. So I do think that had TikTok not been weird yesterday,
It could have been the
we would have
weather
been
too,
really
because
close
there was
to two.
the ice storms,
That's true.
and now it's hitting our area today. So
Oh, that could be.
So we didn't quite make 2K Tiki-Takis, but we're getting close. And we're very thankful to everyone who's following us on TikTok and
Hell
other
yeah.
places.
Yeah.
So I think, though...
it's all to you though, Marilyn. I put 2 videos up, and
Yeah,
all the
Marilyn,
rest.
thank you for making the content because, yeah.
I am so old.
I'm obsessed with TikTok!
I can't, for the life of me, figure out how the hell to use it. So,
I still need to give you a
At least you're attempting,
tutorial.
You know.
It takes me an hour and a half to post one 15-second video, and there's my whole afternoon.
Okay.
It's all right. I'm going to teach you the ways eventually here. So I predicted that my first week of classes would go smoothly. And I think by and large they did. It's a weird semester because I'm teaching 2
Mine too.
different classes where I'm used to usually teaching the same class twice.
Mm.
So, but I do get to teach literature this semester in one of those classes and not just writing.
How do you feel about your new curriculum you had to write?
Pretty good so far. I mean, we're not too far into it. Obviously, it was mostly syllabus days this first week and then like one lesson. So
at least you got to roll out in your...
Yeah.
Does it have to get approved by anyone after, like, do you have to submit it to...
I do need to submit my syllabus, but they don't necessarily like approve or disapprove it. Okay. I mean, I'm guessing they look it over, and if there was a problem, they'd let me know. But
do you have criteria that you have to incorporate into your syllabus?
There are certain like standard things that we have to add no matter what. But then, other than that, depending on what the course is, there are like standards kind of within that. Like if you're doing like a survey literature course, no, it's more like. Based on, so like if I'm doing like a survey literature course, then I should have like a survey of literature from across time and from different diverse authors and things like that. And as long as you're sort of meeting that criteria, you're fine. Or if I'm I'm not teaching this, but if I was teaching like early American literature, then you need to make sure like the things you're teaching are from early American literature. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's more standards like that.
Right. Gotcha.
More sticking with the theme or whatever of the class, I guess. But yeah. But by and large, there's a lot of academic freedom at the college level to, especially in those kinds of courses, to teach
how you
want.
Nice.
Yeah, which is nice.
Right.
One of the reasons I
don't
teach
K
through 12.
So
far, so good. Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully that's good for the future.
I hope so.
Have you heard from all your students or no?
The class that I teach synchronously, because one of them is synchronous, one's asynchronous. The two synchronous classes, I think everyone attended both days.
Nice.
With the exception of late ads, but I think they attended on the second day, since they weren't enrolled technically yet on the first. And then the asynchronous class, it's asynchronous. I'll know whether or not everybody's been participating by within a day or so.
Cool.
When things are due or start to become due.
It's all online. So.
Yeah, it's all online. Yep.
Cool.
So, Susie.
Yes.
We aren't really in a position to
me and my to be continued. I'm saying.
TBD.
I started them out with to be continued, and I'm ending it with to be continued. That's why, I'm consistent like that, I guess.
You know what? That's okay.
But no, so mine was basically that we were going to get a hold of Andrea Stein by next season and maybe do some sort of something with her. So we'll see how that goes.
Have to
we're going to reach out to her over our break.
Yeah.
And we will hopefully make it happen. We'll see. No pressure, Andrea Stein. No pressure.
Yes, definitely not. Seriously, yeah, no pressure. So, anyways.
I'm going to reach to her.
What's so funny is that, so this season we were going to do for the closing a Q&A, and one of the first questions that we have kind of has to do, not with particularly Andrea Stein, but at the same time she is a witch, and it asks us what kind of witches are you? So Ryan submitted a question that was, what kind of witches are you? So should we get into our Q&A since that's the topic that we're going for?
I think we should get into our Q&A for sure. Thank you so much, first of all, to everyone who submitted questions. Yes.
We had quite a few. It's so exciting.
Yeah, we parsed our list down just a little bit.
Having fans is just so exciting to me. It's like we're a real celebrity.
No, but it is really cool to see that there are people that are, resonating with us and... Yeah, I don't know.
We have a little extended
small town witches.
It's so adorable. I love it. So, as you were saying, Ryan asked, what kind of witches are we?
So who wants to go first on this one?
I mean, I can.
If
you guys want me to.
Yeah.
Okay. So I consider myself more or less an eclectic witch, which means that I take from a variety of traditions and things like that work for me. My primary jam, though, is kitchen witchery. I love my herbs and spices.
Yes.
But I've been getting into crystals a lot lately, and I blame the two of you. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you for reintroducing me to my love of crystals. I'm loving it.
Yeah. And I do some divination stuff. Like, obviously, I have my tarot decks. I use it mostly for shadow work, but I like to dabble with them beyond that a little bit, too. So, yeah, I'd say those are my main jams. Eclectic, but with, like, a primarily kitchen witchery within that. But other than that, like, I like crystals, and I like helping in the garden a bit, too.
Yeah.
So green, so a little bit of green witchery, I'd say. But I think that plays into like the herbs and spices thing. Like it's a pretty good sister or companion practice.
Right.
To
Well, plus
witchery,
with not having the garden beds out back, I'm sure that that'll be something that you get more into in the future too. Just because you know, with Mom getting into it and stuff, and obviously with you being in kitchen witchery, it's kind of more. What's the word?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I helped her put those beds. Not put them together, but like sift the. You know, like we had like tons of dirt that we had to put in the raised beds, and we had like doubly raised beds, so they're deep. So they're deep.
They're deep.
Look how deep they are, girl.
Remember all that dirt I had to put in there?
So much dirt. There was so much of it.
The poop jokes get you. The sexual jokes get me. Sorry.
Yeah, right.
Girl, it's okay.
Oh man.
We're both 5.
Okay. Well, we got.
So yeah, so eclectic kitchen witchery is my main jam. Some green witchery, some divination, some.
A lot of little everything all rolled into one.
Basically, I just do what I want.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm kind of on that page. Like, I don't really have a label as where I am, other than that I prefer to be called a pagan. Like, I don't know. I don't really label myself a witch. I'm just pagan. Yeah. And then, I would say if I had to like I would also be eclectic because I am all over the place. And.
Yeah.
Are there any particular like things that draw you that? Well, actually, we'll get into that later with some of the other questions, I think. So never mind. So I agree. I'm the same. Like if I were to categorize myself or label myself, I'd be eclectic because that again pulls from many different like styles and types. And I remember reading a book that Sam had actually that kind of like gave a few differentiated like sort of like what the different types of witches were and kind of like what their practices or like what draws them, whatever. And like the ones that I'm more or less drawn to are kind of like the green witch because when I was like at the apartment, which obviously I was at an apartment, so I didn't have like my own yard and I couldn't like, grow all my own stuff. But at the same time, when I was like having all of like the pots out on the porch, like I don't know, I loved doing.
You love your little plants.
Yeah, I love my plants. I'd love to get
keep
more
anything
into.
alive, so I kill every single plant I've ever owned.
I've never really been necessarily having a green thumb. I wouldn't consider myself, but I don't remember ever like killing everything either. So I just want to give myself more of a chance. I want to get more into that, to be honest.
Yeah.
But then, I'm not into kitchen witchery. I'm more like I'm into like cosmic stuff, honestly, like space and stuff. That's always fascinating with like the stars and
you're like space girl.
Yeah,
isn't that like
astrology?
I feel like that's like a little like
numerology,
a TikTok trend. Like some girl made a song on TikTok. It was like space girl. Da, 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 da. I don't remember like the words, but anyways, she got real TikTok famous because of it. But when you said that, it reminded me of that song. So anyways, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're good. But no, in addition to like the cosmic, one of the things that I read in that book was a weather witch. And I didn't ever consider myself a weather witch, but then I remember one time you were talking about, you're like, yeah, it was funny to me when like the storm happened and it took down the tree in the backyard and you were like, yeah, that wood's going to be charged with the electric energy of the storm. And I was like, oh yeah, I am kind of like into that. So like I
I would have never thought of that.
Well, like before I knew about moon water, I never like did anything with moon water or sun water, but it fascinated me. Like right away I'm like, ooh, moon water, what's that? You know? And now I've made moon water a few times, and then like I've always collected rainwater though and done stuff with rainwater. And then when I did my simmer pot, I actually went out and got snow, and I used the snow in the simmer pot as my water. Like I don't know, I'm weird like that.
Snow water is a thing within the craft.
That's what I'm saying. Like I don't know, for some reason I'm drawn to weather things, and now I'm also really drawn to like. In addition to being like I like to draw on cycles of things, like the moon cycle.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I love stuff like that. I don't know. But anyways.
You should get that spiral habit tracker that I was telling you about.
I know, I would love it.
But another thing I was going to say about my type of witch that I forgot to mention is that I consider myself like non-secular. Like I don't worship any of the gods or goddesses. So
Yes, actually,
I agree with that
same.
too.
I am,
I'm not particular. Yeah, I'm not particular to
any. Well, this goes back to kind of something that we mentioned in like our very first episode, where I'm not sure if I believe in deities in general. Like I think if I put something like of them into a spell or something like that, I see them more as symbolic of like certain things, of certain energies, of certain human wants or needs or whatever. but not like actual things. And I know that there are some witches that are completely on the opposite end of that, and I don't, begrudge them their path. It's just not mine.
Yeah.
So.
No, I can agree with that. I can respect that. Like,
Yeah.
I agree too. Like, I don't necessarily, like, for some reason, I feel like I would like to pay respect to, because I've never really, like, worshipped Mother Goddess Gaia, like you, I think, do, Sam. And I've not worshipped, but at the same time, like, I didn't necessarily put, but I've always believed in, like, a Mother Earth and Father Sky type of thing. Like, I've heard of that before and not necessarily ever been drawn away from that idea. But at the same time, like, I really have, like, ever since learning about the Mother Gaia thing, I kind of feel like, Earth is more or less like a motherly type of, because you plant seeds in the earth and she grows them, and like a birth of a baby, like a woman, you plant a seed in and then she grows that baby.
She helps nourish us and like whatever.
Yeah, like I don't know, for some reason I more or less can appreciate the fact that the earth is more motherly feeling than like her, like the spirit of the earth, if there was one, I feel
I totally
motherly and feminine, and I as a woman, feminine, feel as, I don't know, I resonate with that feeling more now, especially as a mother. I don't know, it's just
and I definitely resonate with like this symbolism of that, like 100%.
But again, like I've never, like I don't necessarily go and like pray to her or like, but at the same, you know what I really want to do? I read this thing about grounding yourself with the earth, with your like actual feet on the earth. I want to do that. Like I feel like there's something that I miss about when I was a kid over at Grandma and Grandpa's house.
We should go hiking sometime. I like going hiking barefoot.
Oh God, I don't know if I'd want to. Depends on where we're going. I don't know if I can endure all that. I guess it depends on my weak feet if I can handle all of that, because I got some sensitive feet at times. Like, I don't know, man. I can't be walking over some gravel and rocks and shit. Remember we used to go through the river, the Kishwaukee River, when we went camping? We would just go barefoot, walking down the middle, like, whatever. Yeah. Like, that was always fun to me.
I remember Sam walking in the river once.
And getting my
foot slashed open.
It's fine. Justin was there. He was in charge.
Mind
you, I was the babysitter.
It was just a dirty river. Like, it's not going to get infected.
But Justin's a month older than you. He's in charge.
That was the day that I found out that I was, like, completely immune to anesthetics, like local anesthetics, because I had to get stitches.
Ooh.
And they gave me shots. They gave me, like, the maximum dosage that they could for a child.
Like,
I still felt every single fucking stitch. I felt them pull the needle hook thing through my fucking foot every goddamn time. I almost broke my dad's hand, I think.
That's why you were like, I can free birth this child, because the anesthetics are going to get shit for me anyway, so it's really
Well, speaking of being grounded, I think this kind of leads us into our next question.
Yes.
So... Samantha, and you can find her on social media. She did provide her stuff for us at SAMO1340 on Instagram, and on TikTok you can go SamSo1340. So SAMSO1340 on TikTok. So Samantha,
1340, just to clarify.
Yes, 1340 the numbers. Asks, have you ever felt lost? And now my smart-ass response to this is, yes, always, I am directionally impaired. But my real answer is also yes, many times over most of my life. I think this is like a really common feeling, honestly.
Yes.
Which makes me feel not so alone to think that it's more common.
Yeah, no, so who wants to kind of like take this
I'll
first?
go into more detail first.
Yeah, go ahead. Yes.
So... yeah, like I kind of didn't know what religion I even was for most of my life. I jumped around from lots of different churches and different things. And then actually when I started college, I took world religions, just trying to like see the history of them and how each of them came to be and like which one made the most sense to me. And none of them kind of did at the time. And just kind of always didn't really know where... like, but even outside of religiously, I guess I've always been, like, a loner, too. So, I mean, I'm always just a lost outsider. But,
well, and, like, so I feel like that is true for most, like, not most, I shouldn't say. I don't know about everybody.
For lots of people, though, for sure.
I do feel like I'm, like, come into myself a lot more, especially in my 30s. Like, I feel like I'm not trying to be anyone anymore. I'm just kind of who I am, and that's
Yeah.
You're more comfortable in your skin and you know yourself, but it takes time to get to know yourself, and you have to go through those experiences of kind of not knowing and exploring, and which sucks because it's a bumpy road and it's hard, but...
Well, I self-harmed from the age of 14 to the age of 26, so, like, I was always kind of, like, mentally lost for a lot of my adult life, I guess, and so...
Right. Yeah. Well, and honestly, that's really important to, like, confront, because I feel like some people don't, and it's something that, I mean, I feel like I've gone in and out of feeling lost at times, like, and so when I read this question, I couldn't help myself, but I did go home and kind of ponder on it, and it brought it back to the cornfield story for me, and I know it's
I was so lost that day.
I know it's very literal, but at the same time, okay, so, like, basically, I know that was a more literal standpoint, but, like, I'll never forget that in the middle of, like, that... Okay, so we were out there...
Did you stop and pray?
No, I didn't stop and pray. But I stopped... No, well, sort of. I had to... Okay, so we were doing our thing, whatever, and then I, thought we were good. I found out that I really was turned around lost, and I had no idea where I was. And I was like, shit, so I had to look within and figure out what tools I had within my own brain and my own mind to get myself out, to save myself.
Yeah.
And I feel like what I remembered was Mom telling me a story. She said that there was some story she heard. I don't even know if this was true or false. It could have even been a false story, but I remember her telling me this. She said there were kids that have died in cornfields because they've gotten lost in them, and they've, like, I don't know if they suffocated and died because they got so hot and it was just so whatever, or if they just got lost and they just never found them until the
spring harvest or whatever, fall harvest.
But seriously, I don't mean to laugh. I don't mean to laugh. And I think for real, that went through my mind.
Like, when it's been fertilized and stuff too, because you can run out of oxygen, I think, in cornfields if it's
and I think that's more or less what happened, because I felt
think you can suffocate.
So what happened was I was lost, and I remembered that story, Mom telling me that, and she was like, and so at first I was thinking, oh God, I'm not going to be that, like my mom would be so disappointed in me if I ended up being one of those kids that got lost in a cornfield and could not find their way out,
She'd be so disappointed in me if I died.
Kind of. I mean, there's a part of me that's sad, but at the same time, but it was that thing that's like, you know what? No, I'm not going to give up and become that. Like, I know that is a possibility at this point for me, and I'm not going to let that happen to myself. So basically, I, at that point, thought of, okay, so what did my mom tell me about that story? Okay, so what happened? She's like, well, all the kid has to do is just go in one direction. As long as we're going in one direction, it is a square. All cornfields are square. It's going to come out at some point or another. You just got to keep going. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to just go. I'm just going to choose one direction, because I had no idea which direction to choose at this point. I'm just going to choose a direction, and I just went for it. I was like, I'm going to go, go, go. And I kid you not, this is the part that I'm probably going to, cry. There was a point in time that I knew I was so lost, and I remember Mom telling me that, and I was like, okay, I just have to keep going in this direction. And I remembered I was so hot, I was so tired, I was so lost, I was so exhausted, I thought I was going to die, I thought I was going to be one of those kids, and I was like, you know what, no. Again, I had to tell myself, I was like, no, Mom said, you just go in this direction, you keep going. You just keep going, you keep going, you keep going, and you just gotta keep going. So I did, I got back up and I kept going, and I did kind of, at that point, have a breakdown. I didn't necessarily pray to God or anything, but I did have a breakdown point where I did not think I could keep going. But I did. I had to push on. I had to just keep... when I was retelling myself this story, when I was answering this question, I was like, it's just like Dory. Just keep swimming.
Just keep swimming.
Yes. And literally,
it's good that you went to just that neighbor's house and not, the neighbor behind the way.
God. Yeah, because I wouldn't have known where to go at that point again.
Yeah, even once you got out of the cornfield, you wouldn't know which direction to go around and to walk around the fucking block.
Yeah,
what?
Well, I was just lucky to find a house that had... I was... Honestly, I didn't go up to their door, obviously, because I did know that was their neighbors, luckily, because I looked at the direction that it was, and I was smart enough to know directionally where I was once I found that house. But, yeah, and, I remember, but that's the thing, once I kept going, and it felt like it was forever. I don't remember how long I actually was lost for. I think it was over a good hour, though, right? I mean, they had the tractor out and everything. They were looking for me, which that's the other point that I had in this story, was the fact that, you never know if there are people out there on a tractor looking for you or not. thank God when there is. That's great. And it's always great to appreciate the people in your life that are out on that tractor looking for you. But if you don't have anybody out there on that tractor looking for you, you got to pick yourself up and get yourself out of that cornfield. You just got to keep going in a direction that you feel is true for you and good for you and you know is going to get you out. Just go for it. So that's my advice to anyone that feels lost. Just keep swimming.
Just keep swimming.
There's one more recommendation too. I saw this really great Pixar Disney collaboration video on Disney. It's called Lou, Lost and Found. Mm-hmm. It talks about. Well, I don't know if I want to go into the details, but just if you guys ever
no spoilers.
No spoilers. But I'll link it. I will make it a point to link that one because I love it so much. And if anybody is interested in that, I will link it to our website, and we'll put it's Disney though. I don't know if I can put a link to it. It might be like.
Well, you can at least put like a picture of it, or like share the name of it and like where they can find it.
Yeah, we'll try to figure out some way to get you links to it. But either way, it's a great thing. To check out if you're.
Is it a short?
It's a short, yes. Okay. It's like I forget, like 5-10 minutes long or something. It might
be on YouTube or something then. We'll have to look.
But it's about basically, being generous to others and finding yourself and it's really cute.
Nice.
So
I don't think I can top that story. Next. No.
Your turn, Marilyn.
Yeah, do you have anything on feeling lost?
Well, I mean, yes. I mean, over and over. I mean, nothing quite as emotional as you.
Sorry, I get into emotional ape stories.
We'll have to explain that joke someday.
Yes.
I feel like the most lost I probably felt was, so it had always been my plan to go to graduate school. And once I graduated from my bachelor's degree, I'm going to admit, I was not the best student as an undergrad. I think I had like a little over a 3.0 by the time I graduated, which is like for a lot of people, they're probably like, oh, that's not so bad. No, that for you, you're not, like, for me, that's not.
I got 3.5 or 3.7 now.
I was worried about other things for a lot of my undergrad years, and I was working full time pretty much too. So I just didn't put the attention into school that I should have, both as a result of working and immaturity. And so, at the time,
isn't that what like college is for?
She's learning life
the
skills,
first time though,
life lessons, and life things.
Yes, I agree. But also, there are, I don't know, I guess there are just students
she wishes
that...
she would have put her effort in other things.
Or I have put more effort into school,
A lot of,
Yeah, or treated it more like a job. Sometimes I took my job as precedent. Like, if they needed me at work, I'd be like, okay, I won't go to class tonight because money. You know what I mean? But really, I should have been treating my class or classes, I feel like, more like...
the job.
Like a job, right? Yeah, so anyways, but the result of this, though, I ended up applying to... I took a couple of classes as a student at large as a graduate. And then I applied to the grad school. But honestly, I wasn't really prepared at the time. Like, because I was a quasi-shitty undergrad and, like, whatever, I just wasn't really prepared for the step up in the level of work.
You didn't feel confident in your capabilities from your previous...
It's not even that I wasn't confident in my capabilities. It's just that I didn't focus enough in school to get my competencies up to the point where they're on par for graduate school at the time.
Ah, okay.
Because it's a very different kind of atmosphere between like undergraduate coursework and graduate coursework. It's a lot more self-led. It's a lot more like even beyond what is, self-led at the undergraduate level. I mean, the kinds of works that you're reading are just so much more theoretical in nature and like sometimes harder to follow until you have some of your core competencies there and very well established. And so for me, I just really wasn't ready even as my student at large classes, honestly. But then I ended up, after my student at large classes, I did end up applying to the grad school anyway, even though I only got like B's in the classes that I did take it as a student at large, which is not great in grad school, to be honest. So anyways, I applied, I did not get in. And this just like crushed me because my path had always been, I'm going to go to graduate school, I'm going to become a professor. And so that just completely destroyed the dream. I'm like, I can't do my dream if I can't go to grad school. Of course, I only applied to the one school and like whatever. So like,
you were limiting yourself but didn't realize at the time. So
right, exactly.
And it made you
and
feel
I think
lost.
like some of this comes too from the idea that I'm a first generation college student. Like, I mean, there are a lot of people out there that have like guidance from parents and things like that who've gone through these things before. Like, I had no idea, you know what I mean? And that's nothing on mom or dad. They had good careers and they're hardworking people and whatever, but it's a very different kind of thing being out in the work world versus trying to navigate all of the systems and understanding what is or isn't important at the college level.
Yeah, I didn't have much guidance in that. My mom went to some night courses to get the job, the promotion that she had.
But that's not really like a full course load and getting
I think she earned a certificate.
Sort of different.
Parents that have, or students that have parents that have been through that process have people that they can turn to help guide them through in a more succinct way that they're not going to waste their time or waste, different whatever.
And some parents, they just don't know because they haven't been through it.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just, it's a learning process.
Yeah, But, I mean, clearly...
Now you've been through it, and now...
Clearly I just kept swimming, and, now I'm working on my dissertation, and I will be doctor, hopefully, somewhat soon.
And at least now you're rolling out and teaching a class that you ultimately wanted to teach. So, I mean, it's all working itself out. It's just sometimes things don't happen in the time that we want them to happen because we are like this here now. We need satisfaction in this moment, and we're not patient. And but if you are patient and you are determined and you do just keep, I
had something that I wanted to add to mine that I didn't bring up is when I first got PTSD, the traumatic event that led to that, I'm still kind of lost afterwards because the person that I was before that, it's I'll never be that person again. So I kind of had to grieve that person and become somebody new again. And so being an adult, having to rediscover who you are, that's been a really trucky process.
Yeah. But yes, a tricky process. Well, and I agree. It's one of those things that, I think that's partially what, so I feel and I've never been diagnosed, but I just know myself pretty well and I'm pretty in tune with my feelings at most times. And I know I went through a stage where I was super depressed and I don't feel like I'm within that. I mean, I still have my moments here and there where I'm like, oh God, I'm bipolar and I gotta go right back to how depressed I was. And now I'm right back to where I am and I'm good again, but at the same time, I feel I'm not as dwelling within it and so comfortable dwelling within it as I once was because there's a point in time when I was depressed that I was just so comfortable in my depression that I had no idea I was necessarily even in it and I just kind of kept dwelling in it and it was fine and I think I was lost at that point. But then there was this thing, I think it was just having a kid that happened for me, but that mostly happened anyways. I think that's what mostly changed it for me. But I finally snapped to it and just realized that, you know what? Life is a gift. You only have so much time on this earth. You got to pretty much figure out for yourself what makes you happy and just, forget about the opinions of other people for a little while because I have my whole life always been so worried about what everybody else thinks of me. That it's really closed myself off of a lot of opportunities that I think I would have been better off taking as a person, but instead I chose to not take them thinking, oh gosh, what will this person think, that person think, what will the outcome be, whatever, and you hold yourself back from things and more as you get older you realize don't do that.
Be who you are.
Don't hold yourself back. You gotta make mistakes and everything is a learning experience and I mean you gotta just go for it. Life is short. You gotta.
I think that's kind of my advice to anyone who feels lost. If you feel lost, stop and think about who you are, not who you are trying to be or who you're expected. Feel like you're expected to be.
Just whatever makes
take a
you
look
feel
at
good
who you
inside.
are. Just
that's where I would start.
That.
That's where I would start. Is figure out what makes you feel good.
Yeah.
If you can figure out what makes you feel good, let's just start going with that.
What makes you
as long
feel
as
the most you.
Yeah, as long as it's not obviously hurting other people or hurting yourself or anything like that. But it's
And if you can't imagine who you are, then I suppose maybe you could try and figure out how to dissociate. No, I'm just kidding. I'm trying to find a good segue into our next question.
She's so good at trying to get good ones, but and I guess you're not
terrible
wrong.
transition.
So yeah, who's
all right? So next question on to the Q&A session here, guys.
I can see where you were going with this, Mary. So what's the next question, Sam?
Joanna I know a couple Joannas. I wonder if it's any of them that we know.
I don't know.
But
we at least know one mutual, yeah.
Who's your favorite witch from a book, show, or TV, etc.? Like, so me not being that big, I would probably say, like, music-wise, Stevie Nicks, even though she claims that she was never a witch. But, you know, her music says otherwise. Her
And you know what?
Vibe says otherwise.
And fake Stevie Nicks, even though it was played by the real Stevie Nicks in
Coven,
Coven, is a witch, so you're good.
I know. That was going to be my other, like, if I had
There
to
you
pick,
go.
like, a TV show, it would probably be Coven from American Horror Story, like that.
Yeah.
So, but other than that, I'm not huge on TV, so if that's...
So that's your answer?
Yeah, that's the end of my answer.
All right. Well, me and Meryl are all up into movies.
Yeah, you
so
guys probably have more
who
to
wants to
say.
go first?
You can go ahead.
Okay, so I couldn't settle on just one, so I have to name a few, just because
That's exactly
I like
why I
that.
was going to be like, I'll go second, because mine's going to be a mashup. No, go ahead.
Sorry. Okay,
Stealing my thunder. No, I'm just
So
kidding.
my absolute favorite right now, and I'm sure it's resonating with a lot of witches out there, is New Age Sabrina. Oh my god, I love her.
I just started watching it.
I'm
on
her.
episode like 4 of the first season.
It's great. I mean,
It's crazy modern and feminist and amazing. Yeah,
I love. And I love the ants too. They're great.
Yes.
But then, and I also love the original Sabrina and the ants on there too,
Yeah, I
especially
used
the
to
ants
watch
on
that
there.
too.
But
Yeah.
I just, you know, I prefer the newer one nowadays, I guess, just because they can do so much with it. But then, I also love Piper on Charmed.
Yes, she's actually half of my answer.
And then I also love Sally on Practical Magic, but I also put that I would, in my head, I think I would like to be more like a Nicole Kidman, but I'm totally not like that. She's more like sexy and like, you know.
Mysterious and like.
Yeah, like, you know. But it would be cool to be like that, but I'm not like that. I'm more like a Sally.
Like,
I'm
I
a
am,
Sally.
Well, it's so funny. Like, this isn't witchy, but this is. I watched the TV show Grace and Frankie. It is like literally one of my favorite shows. And I mean, this is one of those shows on Netflix that is constantly going. Like, even if I've reached the end of it, like, I always start it back over again.
She's like,
Because
I
it's just
always
like
have
one of
it in
those
the background.
ones
Yeah.
for me. I love TV shows with old women because I'm like that with Golden Girls.
Yeah,
too.
I love Golden Girls for that. That's my like, I'm gonna take a nap and go put Golden Girls on.
But I
Yes.
love how Frankie is just like so free and just like artistic and like awesome. And like, I mean, yes, there are some aspects of that I, you know, identify with, like the creativity and whatever.
Yeah.
But I love how she's just like so free and outgoing and expressive, and she just is so who she is. And I'm like, I strive to be Frankie, but I am such a fucking Grace. She's just like uptight and everything needs to be just so, and like
Like a Brie Vandekamp, like.
pretty much, yeah,
Not that
perfect.
bad.
Everyone needs to put on perfect appearances. Yeah.
Oh man, it is
Like,
funny though when you notice things about
I'm
yourself
probably-
like that. Like, darn it, I'm such a.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably being a little bit harsh with it, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think there are some aspects of me that are more Frankie. You know what I'm saying? But
Like a mixture.
yeah, but anytime I'm like, I wish I could be more like Frankie, and I just know that there's way too much Grace in me for that to ever really fully happen.
Well, it's like Breakfast Club. It's like, you know, what was that saying at the end? It was like, we were all brainwashed because we're all a brain in a basket case, in a criminal, in a, you
We're all
know, in a
these
princess.
I'm sorry, but I kind of interrupted. Did you get out all of your witchies?
The very last one I was going to bring up is Bonnie on Vampire Diaries.
Oh,
I love Bonnie Bennett. She was great.
She's great. Yeah, I agree.
But anyways,
So-
yeah, that was my little handful that I was like, oh god, there's too many and I have to list them. Sorry.
So you were like way more crazy about it than I was. I have two that I'm going. I mean, I do love all the
So I
witches
should have
though.
gone last.
No, oh my gosh, that's fine. It really doesn't matter. I like all the witches actually that you brought up, and so I don't know. I almost want to change my answer, but I'm not. I'm gonna keep it to what I initially thought about saying. So.
Hermione Granger.
Oh god,
There's so many good.
there's so many good. Oh, there's so many good.
But no, so my two, okay, so if you know me well, then you know that I used to be obsessed with the TV show Charmed. I still am. That, much like Grey's and Frankie, is one of those that, like, if it's on a streaming service, I always have it going, pretty much, because I love it. And, like, I will say that it's not the best produced show.
It's corny.
It's corny as F. Like,
It's
but
great, though.
it's like one of those guilty pleasure, I love it shows. They
so
aren't even great
90s.
representations of witches. I mean, most witches aren't, because a lot of it's, like, way more
Hollywood.
supernatural than, like, magic actually is.
Oh, yeah.
And it doesn't really operate that way. There's a lot of misconceptions about what witches are and what magic is, and, like, whatever.
You can't blast people across the room.
No, it just doesn't happen that way.
I mean, not yet. I'm working towards it.
Yes,
I'm working on my energies.
Built up.
So
3, baby.
Repelling things.
But both of my mashup witches are from Charmed. So I, like Susie mentioned, I love Piper Halliwell. She's, like, her personality and just, like, who she is as a human is much more like who I am as a human. So, like, I identify with her a lot, but I don't love her powers. Instead, I would want to be Paige's powers, which is, like, a combination of White Lighter and Witch, where she would be able to
heal. And
I like the power. I've always said if I ever had, like, a physical power, that if physical powers like that were, like, real and actual and as powerful as they are depicted on television shows, that healing, like, much like, you know, the Light Lighters from the original Charm were able to do, and I think in the follow-up Charm
you gotta
as
take
well,
some
but
Reiki healing classes, girl.
I should learn
You're
that.
gonna become a healer.
I should learn that.
With your energy.
And then also I like that she can move things with her mind, because sometimes I'm lazy as fuck.
Remote control, get your ass over here.
Remote control. Thank you for coming.
Oh wait, you're in my phone now. You are right here. Thank you.
So yeah.
Oh, technology.
So that would be my
technology
mashup.
is magic.
Yeah. Okay, so what's our
next question?
Do you want to read our
Yeah.
next question, Sam, or do you want me to do it?
Go for it.
Okay, so the next question is from NH. Was there a movie that scarred you? Mine was Pumpkinhead, 1988.
I was born in 88.
Ooh, I was born in 99.
So I can answer this in a heartbeat. No, because my real life is more traumatizing than any movie I've ever seen. So I was way damaged before I ever seen anything that could, you know, that's my answer.
So you guys are gonna laugh at mine.
Okay. Oh, well, I mean, I don't have a very great one, so go ahead.
Okay, so when I was young, I remember I was watching, like, some, like, trashy, like, insider television or whatever at Mama Cheryl's. Now, Mama Cheryl is an old babysitter of ours, but we were there, like, a lot. She was basically like a second mom to us. And so, anyways, she's also a witch, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't know that until this.
I knew from back in the day.
And Jason, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if Heather Annie is.
I think she might be. I know she has,
Or
like
Dina or Kelly. Like, that'd be cool
I have
to
no
find
idea
out.
about them. But yeah.
Build our coven.
So there was, like, some, like, extra or something like that, or some, like, TV show like that covered, like, the entertainment industry or whatever. And I can't remember exactly what the story was about. But anyways, there was a scene that they showed from Leslie Nielsen's Repossessed, which is it's basically a satire / comedy version of The Exorcist.
Oh,
and so there's, like, this, like, exorcism looking, like, Linda Blair look-alike that, like, turns her head around and then she just, like, spits the pea.
I think I have
pea
seen
soup
that
or whatever.
scene. Now that you're saying that, I feel like I do remember seeing
I
that.
was horrified. I had nightmares for weeks. I was like, I was so scared. I mean, I was, like, really, I was young at the time.
I was traumatized.
I was less than 10 years old for sure. I was, traumatized. Right after it came on the television too, like, I started crying, and then I went and laid down because I was, like, just crying so hard. So Mama Cheryl actually sent me back to take a nap on her Daddy Bob's bed. And, like, I just, like, laid there and I was sobbing and she came in. She was like, "Are you okay?" And then I was just, like, I had, like, flashbacks to it for, like, a long time after that. I was just, like,
that was terrifying.
Yeah, it was terrifying.
I don't want to eat pea soup ever again.
But it's just funny because it wasn't actually from The Exorcist. It was from the comedy.
Right,
Repossessed.
well, yeah.
So my dad used to always watch X-Files, and we would always stay up and
yeah.
watch it with him.
Uh-huh.
And then we would go camping a lot. So him and his friend would be like, yeah, there's actually, like, werewolf men in the woods, or, like, there's actually, like, these whatever, like, living in the woods, and if you wander off, or if you don't go to bed by the time the moon comes out, or, like,
They're gonna come and get you.
yeah, so they would send us to bed, like, early and put us in the tent, and then they would wait a couple fucking hours, and they would make fucking noises, and come with sticks, like,
That's why you were scarred.
Yeah. Like, my dad would actually traumatize me. It's fine.
It's fine.
All fun and games until she's peeing in her sleeping bag.
Oh my gosh. So, speaking of things coming to get ya, our next question is, I kind of love this.
Ooh.
Well, I didn't really.
This is anonymous. This is a fun one, though.
It is a fun one. So, next question. Do you want to read it, Zeus? You haven't read a question yet, I don't think.
All right, let's see. Who of the three of you is most likely to be cursed, and who is the most likely to do the cursing? And then in parentheses says, with you three, this should be a funny debate. Laugh out loud.
Well,
and of course, they remain anonymous. They're like,
They're
I'm
like-
gonna poke the bear, but not tell you who I am. Which is totally what we would do, so that's great.
it's probably Steven.
Who wants to? Yeah, right?
Steven!
Steve or nine.
He had to have submitted a question, and he, it has to be an anonymous one, right?
I mean, we can assume these things. He's like, no. So who wants to take this one first?
Well,
I'm sure we all have our own
earlier
theories.
this morning, we already kind of discussed that we only prefer to do good magic. So, like...
Yeah, I mean,
and
so
have good
cursing,
intentions.
can I, like, just say that we mean it in the, like, shit, fuck, damn kind of way? Because I think maybe me on that front.
What do you mean shit, fuck them? What do you mean?
Cursing!
Oh,
Curse
oh,
words.
yes, of course. I was like, what? Okay. Got
But
you.
as far as actually cursing people, I don't do that shit.
Yeah.
No, like, so,
That is
okay.
not in my
What's
repertoire.
so
I mean,
funny-
like, I feel like Susie might be the most likely to be cursed out of the three of us.
Probably.
But...
I am a little klutzy and clumsy. And
You
I
probably
seem
already
like,
are cursed. You need some shield magic.
Yeah,
bro.
we need to cleanse you. We should have, like, a ritual to cleanse Susie.
So what's funny to me is that when I first got this question, I was like, you know what? Honestly, I feel like the three of us are well aware that, the practice is not to be used for that purpose. And so I don't think any of us would go cursing anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I had a theory, and you can debate me if that whatever. So my theory is that if there was one of us that was cursed, I would pick Marilyn. Not pick Marilyn, but I would think maybe Marilyn only in the sense that when you were a teenager, you said that you dabbled in witchcraft, but you might not have necessarily been experienced enough to know what you were dabbling with. So at that point in time, maybe there were spells that you may or may not have done that you did not know what the consequences would have been. So maybe you did like some sort of a self-interest spell that may have brought a curse upon yourself. That was my theory of if any of us
I
was.
did do a little spell work even early on, but like not, and even now I don't do a lot of
Because as a
spell
teenager,
work,
people
but-
go through a lot of. Like,
I mean,
ups and downs
I
and
would kind of do
emotions,
that
and they-
unintentionally because I don't research most of what I do. I just kind of like,
I feel like
I
sometimes
have
teenagers
this is
can
falling to
misuse
me
and
and I'm going to
abuse
use
things.
these things. And
Yeah,
here we go.
exactly. Well, I feel like as a teenager, you're kind of more in an emotional imbalanced spot. So, like,
Yeah.
if you turn to these things, you're almost going to maybe sometimes use them for things that you're not supposed to use them for. Like, so for instance, Corey told me a story about how when they were kids, they used some witchcraft. And the next day, well, they also did, like, a Ouija board experience in the same, like, within the same day. And literally that night, they were all sleeping in their camper, and they had put the candle out, like, hours and hours and hours before. So anyways, when Corey woke up to his twin brother, on fire. His sleeping bag was on fire, and he was, like, screaming for help, like, because he was on fire.
Mm-hmm.
And anyways, so Corey, like, he said that it was the strangest thing, but he got up, and he was not responsive to the situation like he thought he would be. Like, he literally walked right past the hose. He, like, thought, oh, I better not get the camper wet. Dad'll get mad at me. And then he walked past, like he said that he responded in such a, like, outside of himself way that he, like, it was just so weird. So anyways, everything was burned, but like there was a whole stack of games that they had or whatever.
When you're in your
everything
trauma
was burned
response,
except
like,
for the
you
Ouija
don't
board.
Think
Think,
logically
yeah.
sometimes. Yeah.
Right. Well,
It's
I think
like-
that's what it was too. Well, even Scott woke up out of it and saw Ryan like
just
that.
your
was just
survival
like,
response is on. And,
I better
like,
grab my shit and get out of here. Like, yeah, like he literally
Poor
got like
Ryan.
yeah, literally. Like, Ryan has almost died so many times. I'm like, dude, he's the one that's cursed out of everybody. No, I'm just kidding. But anyways,
man.
but yeah, so but did definitely. But I think that they said that something they did like some sort of a witchcraft spell for money. You know, because they were just kids, they were just teenagers, they were just wanting some money and blah, 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 you know, but they didn't necessarily... Yeah, so that was the only reason why I was like, ooh, maybe, I don't know what kind of witchcraft she was doing when she was a teenager, but you never know. But anyways.
I don't think I did anything too... I mean, I'm trying to remember, like, I mean, God, I'm way past my teenage years, but...
She's like, what
What did I do back then? I don't know. I probably did some stupid shit, who knows?
Not to show my age. Alright.
The other thing that I was also kind of thinking about this one was the fact that, like, to me, if you feel like you're cursed, then you kind of are what you believe. So, like, if you are looking out for things that are, like, putting you in that mindset of, oh, God, I'm so
prophecy
cursed.
sort of a deal.
Yeah, like, if you're constantly feeling that way, then you're going to find things that are going to enhance that feeling or, like, justify, yes, you feel that way because it's happening again. Yeah. But, yeah, you just got to kind of get yourself...
Turn back
Just
around.
cleanse yourself.
Yeah, cleanse yourself. Good call.
Yeah.
Cleanse yourself. Go take a fucking shower. I'm just kidding.
Some people.
I know what you mean. Like, cleanse your aura and your chakras and your...
Yeah.
I know what you mean. Cleanse your space.
I mean,
Right.
Speaking of
I'm a
that,
stay-at-home mom. I
actually-
might not shower as often as most people. It's fine. Next question. Are we going to move on to... So, this one we actually had multiple responses for.
Yes.
So
but only
sort
one
of
person
smashed
wanted
them.
to be called out. So this was submitted by Luna Wolf and others.
Mm-hmm.
But it's, what is your favorite thing to work with? Like types of herbs, crystals, or deviations. And then kind of along with that, what within that category, like if we have a favorite crystal or a favorite herb or favorite whatever of our favorites are. Does anyone want to go first?
I mean, I can.
Can I just remark first about this person's name?
Yes.
I wonder if it's like
Like an
her or
online
his
name.
or their real name, or if it's like their witch name. Because some people have like witch names.
Yeah, I worked with a girl named Luna, actually.
I want a witch.
There's Luna.
Oh, no, it wasn't Luna. Never mind. It was from Star Wars.
Leia.
Yep.
My name was Lola in Spanish class.
Oh, I was Susan.
I was Maria. Not that Maria's a bad name, but it was just like
I don't
the
remember
closest thing to
anything.
mine.
Because I was going to be that kid that took two dual like languages. I took Spanish and German in the same semester and didn't remember a thing of any of them. Like, I was like mixing them all together and Spanglish, English,
Well, if you're already
German.
learning one, it makes sense to learn two. I mean, you know, that'll totally make sense.
I have 2 years of foreign language, 2 different foreign languages, and I don't know any of either of them.
I'm the same.
9.
Not
You took
both.
Spanish.
9. I remember some of it.
Sprechen Sie Deutsch? 9.
Okay, so back to, so the question was, what is our
Favorite type of witchy thing to work with, and then like...
I have one ready unless you guys
go
are
ahead.
ready.
I have one ready. Do you got...
No, go ahead.
Okay, so mine is my favorite herb. I think herbs are probably my favorite just because of my kitchen witchery. And so
Makes sense.
I think my favorite is rosemary, and the reason for this is twofold. One, rosemary, if you're doing spell work or anything like that, this is the more witchy of the two answers. Rosemary can be replaced, like if you have any herb that you're like out of or whatever, rosemary can pretty much replace any herb in a spell. So it's very
Universal.
It's sort of universal, and yeah, it's got a breadth of things that it can be used for. So I think it's versatile. That's the word that I was really searching for.
See, for me, that's kind of like bay leaves, because I can put my own intentions into those, and they can be however I want them to feel.
Yeah, bay leaves are probably like a close second, just because they're versatile in that way too. But the other reason that I really like rosemary, and this has to do with kind of my kitchen witchery, but also like family things and like whatever. But whenever I smell rosemary, it reminds me of one of our favorite dishes that our mom makes, which is chicken and dumplings when she does it in the oven.
I like her chicken and dumplings.
Yeah, same. It's like just one of those, and when you bake rosemary, it's very aromatic. And so, like, you can smell it throughout the house. Like, it smells so good. And anytime I smell particularly baked or cooked rosemary, it just reminds me of my mom. So
I agree, 100%.
Yeah.
I love her chicken and dumplings, and it's all about that rosemary
Hell
smell.
yeah.
I remember I put some in a simmer pot one day, and Trevor came home and he's like, "Oh, baby, making chicken noodle soup," and I was like,
no,
"Nope, I'm boiling some
just
herbs
some
on
witchy
the
shit.
You wish.
I'm sorry, babe.
Yeah, sorry.
But yeah, so
No,
that's
it's
my
for you.
favorite.
I like it.
Yeah.
And Sam, you said you already have one particular picked out?
Yeah, so I probably would say crystals. That's kind of what the first thing I was drawn to and pulled me in. And then my favorite one of that is I have a palm stone, and it's like perfectly like super polished smoky quartz, and it just fits in my hand perfectly. And like that's the one that I always grab, or like if I need to sleep with one under my pillow, that's the one I put in my pillowcase at night. And like
Nice.
So yeah, that's the one I'm always like. I think I even took that to my like doctor's appointment when I had to get my PTSD like
Diagnosed or
assessed.
whatever.
Yeah. So like that's just the one that I always like when I need to have something. That's
Have to
the
kind of
one I
ground you or
go
something.
for.
That's what I was
Yeah.
gonna say.
Yeah. Nice.
Grounds me. Yes.
Cool.
That's cool.
How about you, Susie? You have any ideas?
So, like, honestly, what's funny is I don't have, like, a particular one. I resonate with the fact that I like crystals the most. I think that was the most particular. Like, I tend to be drawn to, like, some of the more basic ones, like quartz and amethyst and rose quartz at this point, just because I feel like those ones are, like... But, like, to be honest with you, I just had another one that I just bought that was, I think it was called, like, not kyanite... Ooh, I'll have to put up a thing with it. But it was a new one, like, that I'd never heard before. But I was on Etsy shopping for Christmas gifts, and it just, like, popped up.
You're like,
and it
I
was
must
the only
have
one.
this.
Yeah, it was the only one, and it was just so, like, yeah, I just needed it.
It called out to you?
Commemorate. Commemorate is what it was called. I'd never heard of it before. It was. But then I read all of, like, the stuff about it. I was like, oh, yeah. That, like, kind of how Samantha was describing how, like, she'll, like, need one, or, like, one will, like... resonate with her, and then she'll go home and research it, and then she'll find out what it is, and I'm like, yep, I needed that.
Yep.
But anyways, but yeah, so I mean, there's different ones, but I would say maybe at this point, maybe quartz, just because I'm always drawn
quartz is
to
pretty
quartz.
versatile too, actually.
And it's versatile, exactly. You kind of replace it for
Mm-hmm.
ones that you might not have or need, and it's, so.
I'm impressed that you have an answer, because you're kind of the three of us, the most baby witch.
Oh, that was another thing I was going to say upon what kind of a witch do you consider yourself. I was also like, I'm kind of a baby at this point, because I don't really have a
being
lot
a baby
of, like,
witch
practices.
is a thing, actually.
Like, the only thing
I'm a
I've
half in
actually...
closet witch, but like I have a podcast now, so I guess I can't
So
say I'm half
100%
in
now, girl.
Well, it's funny because we had a conversation. I don't know if it was in one of the podcasts or if it got cut out, but we were talking about, like, owning our identities and stuff. And, like, there was a part of me that was like, am I a witch? Do I own the identity of witch, you know? But at the same time, like, I don't know. I feel like I still need to delve a little bit deeper into, like, paganism versus Wiccan versus some of the other versions
and there are
of paganism.
distinctions,
So
for sure.
at this point, I still do feel that I resonate the most with what I've, like, noticed about pagan practices. Like, that just, in my own mind, it seems to make more sense to me.
Word.
Yeah!
Drop that mic.
Truth! Okay, so, in addition to what our favorites, we already talked about what our favorite ones were, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the next question was, what are some ways to best cleanse a new space, in parentheses, especially for someone with allergies?
Selenite.
I was gonna say crystals, girl, because the crystals, they're not. Or if you can use candles, just white candles. But salt is another good one.
Salt is great. Assuming that, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the degree of sort of allergies people might have, but that might be something to look into for sure, is salt.
What was that thing about putting salt lines on your doors or eggshells on your doors to put like a protection?
I think there's like a black salt
spirits?
spray that they could make. It's like you dissolve your black salt into like a water solution, usually moon water. Yeah.
I thought something
and you can
about
spray that
like,
on the doors.
And again, this is probably from a movie like The Skeleton Key. I think they did it in. But she
Yeah.
basically takes like salt and actually on all of her doorways would put like
So
just
it's a barrier.
Yeah, like a protection barrier or whatever. And not that would cleanse a space though. That would more like protect a space. But but what I was also going to suggest though is that like Sam has a singing bowl.
Mm-hmm.
You can use sound.
Yeah,
to
sound
cleanse
is
a
a good one
space.
too.
And they have tuning forks. They also have crystal prisms that you can just ding at certain like hertz and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think it's 40 hertz, if I'm not mistaken, is like a really good, like, powerful one to like sound in a house for cleansing or something. So yeah, just throwing that out there that
I want to
sound is good.
Different like metals too. I believe like copper is one that's a good.
Oh yeah, like Dylan or not Dylan, but Levi's bell when you ding bells and stuff at different level or different.
Well, I just mean
pitches.
the metal itself.
Honestly, though, I think
like almost like a crystal, like the energy of metal.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think almost the most simple answer here, though, is using a broom. So for witches, you sweep your negative energy away. So you can just incorporate that cleansing
in your
intentions.
I was going to say your intentions. Yeah.
Yeah, add intentions to your chore and just you sweep that negative energy away. That
and even like when you're cleansing, just cleaning normally, just like you said.
Yeah. It's almost like you can literally clean your space by cleaning your clean in the net, with the energies by literally cleaning your space.
Well, there was another thing that I remember someone suggesting too, as like you're meditating and as you're breathing to like envision yourself like intaking all positive and
releasing the negative
and cleaning your interior out and releasing out all of the bad negative stuff that you want to clean out of you.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Any other ideas? I think those are the primary ones I had were crystals and a broom.
Yeah, crystal grids.
Did we say who submitted that question? Did we?
I think crystal.
Oh, we did not.
Call out?
Oh, whoops.
That question. Sorry, Patty.
Did you say
was
crystal
from Patty.
grids particularly, or did you just say crystals? Because grids are also very helpful.
Yeah,
you can use sacred geometry to
Mm-hmm.
use that. So just also.
Yeah, 100%.
Sorry to tack that on.
No, that's okay. So that question about cleansing spaces, I apologize, Patty. We did not say your name, but it's from Patty, and you can find her on TikTok at
him or her.
Oh yeah, it could be a man or
you can find them.
They.
True.
Yeah, you can find this person. You can find this witch. Are you witch, Patty? I'm just gonna assume for a moment you are. You can find this witch on at Risha16 RICIA 1616 or Twitter at PJUHL16 like P Jewel I think 16 on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yay!
That was the last of our questions.
That was our last question. Thanks, Patty.
There were some more, but we just want to make sure that we don't go too far over, and we'll probably still be getting some more in. So if there was a question that you submitted that we didn't get to, then
maybe we'll just answer it in a social media platform instead.
Yeah, we can do something like that.
Idea. Yeah. So if we get some that trickle in over before we swap out our.
Yeah, we're going to swap out that button for something else that we're about to announce.
What are we going to introduce instead of our questionnaire?
So, we have decided that we are going to do a giveaway. So, if you aren't following us on TikTok, then you probably should because this is going to be derived from something that happened on TikTok. So, I shared a little witch kit that I'm going to be sending to a friend of mine. And people on TikTok loved it. So we decided that maybe we need to put together a similar little witch kit and allow one of you to win it.
We're going to put some stickers in there.
We're going to put some
stickers, exclusive.
Colored candles for every color.
We'll put some herbs in there. Maybe I'll add some.
We are going to hook you up.
Witch kits, incense. Yeah, so we are going to have a giveaway. So what we're going to do. I really think
we should add some personal handmade art too because we're artists and so
we will add some additional extra things that we're not mentioning here too. But it will at least have to a degree the things that we've already mentioned, candles and herbs and perhaps a few crystals or something, maybe a couple of mini potion bottles just to get you started. And so we want to do a giveaway for those things. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a button on our website, MidwestCovencast.com. It'll say something along the lines of giveaway or enter our giveaway here or something. It'll say something like that. Look for it on our page. It'll be on the top of the page. and you can enter
In our
there.
witch kit.
No
Yeah.
purchase necessary, but
Nope.
we do need some information from you to enter you.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
shipping and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
In
And
case you
contact
win. Because if you
purposes.
win, we want to be able to send it to you ASAP. But how long are we going to do this contest for? We haven't actually even discussed this off camera yet. When are we going to announce the winner?
Well, I think that we should announce it at the beginning of our next season, which we haven't necessarily established a date that we're going to come back at, but we have
Okay.
established we're going to be back next spring.
We're going to be back in the spring.
So-
Okay, so we'll announce it on our first episode back. We'll announce
Yeah,
the
so
winner.
we'll probably have it up for about 4 weeks, maybe.
At least,
Yeah.
yeah.
At least 4 weeks, maybe a few extra. We haven't 100% determined our comeback date yet,
Yeah,
but we
then
will announce that
we
soon.
We
We'll
should
announce it on the
probably turn it
website
off
once we
before
decide.
Yeah.
before we come back.
We'll announce on our website and our social media site. So make sure you're following us somewhere.
And what are we going to do for the runners-up? For, like, maybe a second place?
Ooh, we could do second and third place or something. Maybe like the mini keychain potion
Some
bottles or
Spell jars?
maybe a spell jar too. Yeah.
Well, we
Yeah.
talked about making a lot of different kits. We were talking about making those witchy balls.
Ooh, we could make some witch balls.
Although those might be hard to ship in the mail. Those are a little more fragile. So we'll have to. We'll figure out.
We'll figure something out. We don't know.
Yeah.
So we will
Depending
have.
on how many entries we get, if
That
we
too.
get enough entries, then we'll maybe open a second and third tier of prizes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's a great idea. So enter, and maybe we'll do some like games on our social medias where people can earn extra entries or something every once in a while.
Follow us for all this stuff.
Yes,
all the
follow us on all the social medias. And we'll have more details to come, but you can at least enter once. I'll make sure that by the time this episode comes out, that we have a button on our website for you to enter for your for at least one entry.
Yeah.
And then follow us on social media. We might have some games and things like that over the course of the next coming weeks to possibly get some of you some extra entries into our contest.
Yeah. Other
So,
than that,
yeah.
like, this is goodbye until next spring, you
Until
guys.
next time, Coven.
Thank you all for listening, and thank you all for your
Yes, thank you.
entries. And
We're so
we're excited to see you guys next season.
Yes.
Yeah.
Here's to next season, y'all.
Blessed be witches.
Blessed be.
Thank you for listening to the season finale of Midwest Coven Cast.
Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode and leave us a review below.
You can also join our coven by following us on social media at Midwest Coven on Twitter and at Midwest Coven Cast on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. You can also find us at MidwestCovenCast.com.
Until next season, Coven, blessed be.